share a Jamboard with you. You can always go back and look at it later when the meet's over. It's really easy. You can just open up a Google search tab. You can type in Jamboard and search for it. This is one way to get there. And then it'll open up all the ones that have ever been shared with you. Welcome, Anna. And you can open any of them that you have. Okay, that's one way to get there. Okay, there's multiple ways to get there. The other thing I'm going to do is open up the Google calculator. Okay, so that I'm showing you guys the same calculator that you have access to. This is the one that's just, you search for it and I'll open it up. All right, so before I actually start this problem, I'm going to show you what HMH has here. So I might have to actually change this now. So let's do that. Here we go. So here's my problem from HMH, and it's asking me for an exponential function that models the situation. And after 7 years, the company's annual sales are blank. You know, how does it want me to enter it? Is it picky about things? Those are kind of questions that you might have. So what I would suggest to you, if it's not real straightforward, before you even start it, look at the example of it. You can do this. You click example and it gives you the answer. All right, so the question says, enter the exponential function using t for time as the independent variable to model the situation. Then find the value of the function after the given amount of time. Annual sales for a company are 225,000 and increases at a rate of 8% per year for 7 years. So to write the exponential growth function for the situation, they start with the basic growth version, which is actually what you have in your pair deck here. It's the same one. Okay, y equals a times 1 plus r to the t power. And then they replace a with the initial amount. They replace r with the decimal version of 8%. And then they simplify what's in the parentheses to 1.08. Now, this is exactly what you have to have typed in. If you forget the comma, it's wrong. If you don't add 1 and 0.08, it's wrong. For me, grading a test as a human, not a computer, you know, I would accept this version here. I would accept this version here. I would accept it with a comma. I would accept it without a comma. But for a computer that's grading it automatically, it's not always as lenient or forgiving. So you have to see what it wants you to do. So you want to make sure you have the comma and that you've added these things together and that you put a variable here, t. Then the second part of the question is they want to know the value in 7 years. So you would then use that formula, replace it with t with 7, and evaluate it to get your number here. You have to make sure you round correctly to the nearest cent because we're dealing with money. So if you accidentally round the wrong way and you put 45, it's wrong. Okay, you're off by 1 cent. It doesn't care, you're wrong. So you just have to be really careful and pay attention to precision with HMH. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to now try another. So it's giving me a new question. And it doesn't look like anything's changed, but I think all that's changed is we went from 7 years to 6 years. Okay, so every time you miss it or you look at an example, it's going to change something about the problem. You'll still get the same basic one, but it'll be a little bit different. So again, here's the Jamboard I just shared with you. We're going to do this together. Actually, let's do this instead of me trying to write that. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to screenshot this because this is what I'm using. Sorry, I have a lot of windows open, but it's okay. This is what we're using for this because this is an increasing exponential function. Okay, so what we're going to do is figure out what's A, what's R for this part. We got to plug those in. Then we'll use T for 6 years to do this part. And basically, A is 225,000. Okay, so this is our A. The rate is right here. This is our R, and this is our T. Now, when you're using 9%, we can't actually just use 9% in our calculations. We have to turn it into a number that we can do calculations with. So 9% means 9 per 100. So I'm going to rewrite that as 9 per 100. Okay, that's a fraction, 9/100. And as a decimal, it's still the same, 9/100. Okay, so you have to do some converting of your given rate to a decimal, and then you're going to use that in your calculations. So right here, I'm going to plug in. We have y equals A. We're going to use 225, comma 0, 0, 0. Open parenthesis 1 plus R is 0.09, close parenthesis. And then to get that exponent, I'm going to have to just draw it in. So I'll just put a T here. Okay. Now, because I've already seen what it expects out of the answer, I need to combine what's in the parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite this as y equals 225, comma 0, 0, 0, open parenthesis. 1 plus 0.09 is 1.09, 1 and 9/100. I've now combined it. I'm going to write the exponent of t. And so this is what I put here. Don't write y twice because they already have y equals for you. So we're just going to type in this here. And I'll go ahead and do that on the actual problem. Okay. And you get all these buttons that pop up. So I'm going to start with 225, comma 0, 0, 0. And then I'm going to do an open parenthesis. 1.09, close parenthesis. And then I need an exponent of t. So we're going to use the exponent button, which is this one. This is the exponent button. And now my cursor is where it needs to be, and I could type T. If I click out of there, that's the correct answer there. And now we got to do the other box. After 6 years, the company's annual sales are. So coming back to this screen where I can write stuff here, all I have to do now is evaluate this when T equals 6. All right, so when T equals 6, we get y equals 225, comma 0, 0, 0, open parenthesis, 1.09, close parenthesis. And to resize that, and I'm going to put a 6 here now instead of a T. Okay, so this is what I have to evaluate with a calculator. And I want to remember to use PEMDAS order. So we're going to evaluate the exponent, or the, let's say, evaluate the, it is exponent, but it's the power. Evaluate the power first, then multiply by A. A is 225,000. All right, so let's look at the calculator and see how we do that. You have to make sure you're using buttons in the right way. So, well, that got larger. Here we go. I'm going to type in this power first. So I'm going to type the base in, which is 1.09. And then I need to hit this button, the X to the Y power. We will round probably, Mauricio. So we'll look at that as soon as we get our answer. So I'm going to click that one time, and you can see I get a little exponent box. And so I'm going to type in my exponent of 6 and then hit equals. All right, so that's the value of the power. Then we're going to multiply by the value of A, which is 225,000. So times 225,000. Now on the calculator, you don't have to put commas, right? Calculators don't take commas, they just take the digits. Equals, and we get this. So let me just copy this and come over here. And then this is equal to, send this out, this number here. Now we want a money amount, so we are going to have to round to the nearest cent. We want 2 digits after the decimal. So we're going to look at what is in the hundreds place. There's a 2. If I look next door, there's a 4. So this stays as 2. So my answer is approximately, there we go, wavy equal sign, approximately. See, now I'm not going to put the dollar sign in my answer here because they already have a dollar sign. So don't do another dollar sign because then I might mark that wrong. But I'll write it one time right here. So we keep all of the whole number part, 377,347. Now I need a comma here. Oh goodness, here we go. All right, so no, I did that wrong. 52. Okay, so we keep that as 2. Right? I need a comma. If I just put in this number, it's going to say I'm wrong. Why? I don't know. I don't know why it has to be so picky. Like that. Right here. So the rule with commas is every 3 digits, you put a comma, working your way to the left. So this is the actual value that I'm going to put in to here. $377,347.52. Okay, I have the comma. I rounded correctly. I didn't put a double dollar sign, and it should be correct. It's funny. I get nervous that it's going to tell me I'm wrong because I know how picky it can be sometimes. So I apologize for HMH being picky, but that's just learning how to use the technology. All right. So we're going to do another one of these. We're going to do one of the ones where it's decreasing. Okay. So I'm not going to change this Jamboard. This is just going to stay here. Let me go ahead and just mark on this that this was in fact number 1. Okay. I'll close that. We're going to go to, let's see. The second question is a decreasing rate. The third question is a gains, which is increasing. The fourth question is a decreasing rate. The fifth question is a little bit different. So I'm either going to do number 2 or number 4 with you. And I'll let you guys choose. You can tell me in the chat. Do you want me to do number 2 or number 4 with you? 1 vote for 2. 3 votes for 2. I did finish WandaVision. Okay, so number 2, here we go. Again, if you're not sure what they want, then look at an example, okay, and see what they put as their answer. Again, they're combining the 1 minus the rate, okay, and they have the variable t. And for their amount of money, here, they're not putting a dollar sign. There's no commas to worry about because that's only in when you have whole numbers that are larger than 999. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I kind of see what's here. But then you have to try another, and it's actually going to change your question a little bit, which is fine. So here we go. And I'm going to come back to our pair deck. So now that we're doing this decreasing one, it's the other exponential formula. It's not the plus r, it's the minus r. So this is what we're using. Y equals a times the quantity of 1 minus r to the t power. We're going to go through and identify what's our a. Value of the textbook is $61. So that's what it's starting at. That's our a. It decreases at a rate of 13%. This is our r. And then this is per year for 11 years. And we want to know after 11 years, how much is it worth? So 11 is our t. That's our time. All right, so identify your variables first. Then we're going to plug the ones into this equation here. So for just the exponential function for the situation, it doesn't want you to plug in the value of t. You don't plug in t until the second part when it says after 11 years. Because what we're doing in this first step is writing an exponential function that'll work for any amount of years. Okay, so let me grab this. And we're going to type y equals a, but I'm going to put 61. 1 minus r is 1 minus, okay, so what am I going to use for r? Right? R is 13%. So I do got to do a little bit of changing it so I can put it in as a decimal. So up here, I'm just going to put that r equals 13%, which is the same as 13 per 100, which is the same as 0.13. So we do have to convert our percent to a decimal. Close the parenthesis. And then I'm just going to put in this variable of t. Draw it in. And now I've already looked at what this is expecting. It wants me to combine this 1 minus 0.13. Use a calculator, okay? I know you guys think you can sometimes do this stuff in your head, and you can, all right? But I hate for you to miss the problem just because you made a simple calculation error. I use a calculator. Ain't no shame in using a calculator. Okay, anyhow, 1 minus 0.13 equals 0.87. So if you did do that in your head right now, did you get 0.87? If you did, awesome. If you didn't, that's why you use a calculator. Okay, y equals 61 in parentheses, 0.87, close parenthesis, and then I'm going to put that exponent of t right here. And so now I know what I have to put in the box. All right, they already have the y equals part. So I just need to put, this is number 2. I just need to put this in the box. That's going to go here. And then after 11 years, now I'm evaluating this when t is 11. So y equals 61 times the quantity of 0.87, close parenthesis. And we're going to draw in our exponent, but not t. I'm going to use 11 now. And so this is where I'm going to come use the calculator over here. And we want to remember PEMDAS order. So we need to do 0.87, press the button x to the y. That gives me the exponent box. Type in 11 equals that big old number. Don't do any rounding yet. We're going to multiply that by 61 equals. Now we'll round when we're all done. Okay, so going back over here, equals all of that stuff equals, we got to round it. It's money. We're talking about money. So we're rounding to the nearest cent. So 13 decimal. This is money. 13 decimal. 1. And then is my next digit 8 or is my next digit 9? What should I put? It's 8. Okay, because if you look right here, this is where I'm rounding. You look next door, there's a 3. 4 or less, let it rest. It is 8. 5 or more, go up a floor, but it's not 5 or more, so we stay at 8. So then this right here is going to go in this box. And we don't use the dollar sign because they already have a dollar sign, so don't do it twice. All right, let's go to here and actually see if it works. Okay, 61, open parenthesis, 0.87, close parenthesis. I want to use the exponent box button to get that box. And then right now, at this point, I'm going to type T, right? Because it wants the function that models the situation. It needs to have a variable. T is the situation. We have T here. And then our value, $13.18. Always check your work. Is that a reasonable answer? If I bought a textbook for $61 and every year I lose 13% of its value, after 11 years, would it make sense that my value would be around $13.18? It should make sense. It does. To me, that makes sense. I mean, if I got something that like it was now worth $100, big red flag, I'm supposed to be decreasing. Okay, so this makes sense to me. We can check it. Make sure you did everything correct. It's correct. Okay, perfect. All right, I will stop recording here because I just recorded that so I can add that.